Okay, I'm just going to get into it now. Anybody who joins late, I have this recorded, so I'll be able to send this out. So my name is John Aguilar. I'm the founder and CEO of Ligna. And just to kind of give you a little history of Ligna, Ligna has been around basically since 2020. We've ended 2020, started the new year of 2021. I started building Ligna when I exited from a previous company that I sold off. And I really wanted to build something designed specifically for marketing agencies. I was always drawn to supporting marketing agencies. I had a lot of agencies that I've worked with and partnered with over the years. And when I exited the previous company, a lot of them reached out to me, wanted to know what I was up to. And that's where the white label services started to evolve. I started providing, digital marketing services for their clients and their brands while I was building out this technology with my dev team. And what was really great about that is the agencies that were, leveraging us for white label services, they were our beta users. So they were back there when it was just evolving and having their suggestions and learning about, what we could do to help them be more efficient in their platform. And so, throughout 2021, this technology was rapidly built out. By the end of the year, we had a product that we felt we could go to market with. So Ligna on the front end, first offering came out around November, October timeframe. And so we were pushing that product, at that point. And I know everyone on this call is familiar with our current LTDs, but AppSumo approached us to, be featured on their platform. And, we went back and forth to whether we want to offer LTDs or not. And it was one of the best decisions that we've ever made, simply because we were roughly around 350 users. Most of, if not all of those, were white label agencies and their clients using the platform. And we very quickly went from 350 to 8,000. That's growing because everyone can add their users, right? So it was a crazy year for 2022. We've built a community, a really strong community of power users. We take every bit of their feedback. Our dev cycles, as far as how we push out updates and how we learn from our network, has been the best investment in the LTD community. And so we look at it as 2022 as bringing in as many power users as we can, learn from them, educate them on our, I would say, logic behind every module, because we do a different spin, and I'll show you that here shortly, on a lot of these modules that other companies don't. And once you understand the logic and why we set it up that way, especially if you're in the marketing services world, it is unique, and it's something that has been ingrained based on the users from the early adopters, right? So our LTDs will retire at the end of this year, and then we'll move into our MLR strategy starting in 2023. So hopefully after this demo and any questions you have, this can get you to a point to join our team. So the first part of this, I'm going to go through the demo of the back end, and then at the end, I'll talk about our white label services. And if you have any questions about anything throughout this demo, feel free to type them into the chat box. And at the end, I will answer everyone's questions, no matter what it's about within Ligna. So what you're seeing here is our marketing dashboard. This dashboard is just basically cards of the most relevant information that we're collecting for your clients or for your business, for your agency, right? So we track all calls, outbound and incoming. Those are recorded. We have 3 different types of phone line types. We have call forwarding that you would normally use, or call tracking that you would normally use on a paid campaign or one of your clients' websites or your Google profile, whatever, to get that data in here to understand how many calls you're generating. Obviously, inbound leads, we collect leads through external data forms. We have a pixel that will scrape leads off of your existing data forms. Maybe you're using MailChimp or some sort of form builder on WordPress or whatever. We can pull that data in directly from our pixel. You can import data through the platform, but all this marketing dashboard kind of brings in the most important information that we break down or collect, so you have a good representation of what's going on with the system or with your marketing campaigns. Now you can drill down into each of these reports, such as our web reports, and I'll show you here in just a bit, your call reports, so your ranking reports, and just get a better idea from this dashboard. And of course, you can change out the times and ranges and things like that. So our system is built on workspaces. So workspaces essentially are folders of of how you would organize your digital assets. So that's going to be your landing pages, your websites, your leads, your email templates, your phone lines. If you're selling for multiple brands, maybe you're doing lead gen for multiple different, multiple companies. Maybe you're just in a simple insurance agency that sells car insurance, health insurance, life insurance. So you can imagine how many email templates, maybe even phone lines, SMS templates, different campaigns you're running, maybe different websites that you have in those industries. It can get real crazy if you leverage every module in the system to just manage that, right? And so inside the platform, you can create workspaces. Those workspaces will organize all those assets. And in addition to that, you can add users or user roles to these workspaces so everybody can share those assets that you create. There's several different ways that you can share assets in our platform. You can share assets either on an individual basis. So for instance, you build a website and you want a contractor to help you build it, or you want to add it to a client. You can add what we call collab users. This is when you share a workspace, you're sharing everything you built in that workspace. So that's helpful, for sales teams who are managing, multiple, leads, and everyone needs to see who owns the lead and kind of, collaborate across. So everything you build organized by workspaces, you can apply, user roles and individual users within the workspace. So each of the modules that I talked about over here, as far as your tracking. So conversations, this is growing. Matter of fact, the Facebook Messenger and those pieces are in our roadmap. Right now, this pulls in all your SMS messages that come in. They also pull in all your project tasks. There's ability to submit comments on virtually everything in this system. And so this conversations tab basically brings everything in for you, and you can work within this module. We also have a task center. So there's several different tasks that you can create in our platform. You can create project tasks, you can create lead tasks, and then you can create individual tasks such as, they're not related to a specific lead or an account or not related to a project. And this is more or less just a mashup of all those projects or tasks that you have, so you can, flow through those and just quickly access them, especially if you're a user that has all those modules. Call reporting. So again, I mentioned it records the calls and also, tracks every call that comes in and logs the calls in your league timeline. What's important here is you can switch between phone lines as well and name your phone line. So you're not, limited to just one phone line within the platform. You can quickly toggle between these and the phone system. So you can dial directly through the browser. You can add a soft phone. There's several apps out there. We also have a soft phone app in the works. Or you can set up a desktop VoIP line, and all that's tracked to your leads within this system. The web reporting. So this is just more of a breakdown of, your organics, your referrals, your socials, social visits, your paid visits, those types of things. Rankings, same thing. If you want to provide ranking reports to your clients or just look where you're ranking, for your own business, that's in here. On the marketing module, we have what are called cadences. So we have several different types of automation. So we have our sales cadences. Think of these as like one-to-one sequences that go out. So for instance, a lead comes in, I want this email to go out immediately. I want a text message to go out in, a week. I want, a voicemail drop to go out in a week from there. And then I want to put this lead into a call stage. And what's cool about our call stage system is that lead, whatever activities you have after that call stage, will not trigger until that sales rep does something with that lead to change the disposition. If they change it left voicemail, that'll continue on the sequence. If they have a meaningful dialogue, that'll remove them from the sequence. And so you can put these call stages, but this is just a linear path, very simple sequence of events that happen when a lead comes into what we call a data form or an external lead form or a form built into our system. This is different than workflows. Workflows have a lot of, different logic that you can do. And it really just connects a lot of the modules outside of this. Is just really a simplified sequence of events that happens on your data forms or when you import leads. What's cool about this is you only have to build one. So you don't have to build multiple cadences for your team. You can build one cadence, and then all your sales reps can share that cadence, and they have their own personal settings, such as their own VoIP line, their email integrations, and their voicemail drops that you would use within here. So the email campaigns. So this is, different than our bulk actions within the leads. This is where you can come in and schedule an actual HTML email and send out. This keeps a history of it. So that's helpful if you're doing like newsletters every week. and you're just growing your data in your data forms, and you just want to continue to send the same, email template. You're changing up the content, but you want to keep a history of this so that you can have, every time you send, you'll have all these different histories here, and your leads will continue to grow and that volume will grow. Another use case would be, for instance, like today, I have this meeting, this Zoom meeting at 1 o'clock, and you have the leads that have come in, one scheduled demos on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. And so you send that invite on Monday, and now you have new leads, right? So you don't want to send that invite out to everybody previously, only the net new, and then you want to send to everyone right up before the actual Zoom meeting. So a lot of different ways you can use our email campaign system. This is our builder within our platform, and I'll show you in the CMS, but you can drop in your own HTML code in here, go off of the template that we have existing. All the tags for all your fields that you collect, you can personalize, especially profile tags from your reps, custom tags or lead details. There's just so many ways you can use the parameters here to personalize these emails. So that's all built in. Again, you can throw in your own HTML template or start with one that we have. Same thing with SMS campaigns. Now we do link tracking. So there's a tracking tag that you can use for link tracking. So this works the same way. You can continue to send through SMS, and it'll have your different histories here through the SMS campaign. So again, this is different than bulk action, which I'll show you within the leads view here shortly. Social automation. So this is a scheduler that right now we do LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Instagram is already done, and I'll show you the authentication process for that, but that is a native push out on Instagram. But you can schedule one-off posts. So you can come in here and select whatever accounts you want, schedule the publishing date, time, assign it to a workspace, throw your post in, and it works just like any other, scheduler, right? So it shows up on your calendar here. However, we do have a social curation feature, which basically how that works is, let's say you have, you're a remodeling contractor. You would go out there and find a ton of home improvement blogs, grab their feed link, throw it into our system. And then you would put over here, bathroom remodeling, kitchen remodeling, all the different keywords that are associated with your industry within home improvement. And then when you come over here to actually schedule out posts, you can click on social curation. This will allow you to select those accounts. Say I want 2 posts a day. I want to choose my frequency for an entire month. I'll set my start date. And then what happens there is it's going to go out to all those blogs that you've put in, find posts that are related to those keywords, and then automatically schedule these posts out throughout the entire schedule. That way you have, all your posts already lined up, and then you can go in and edit them and change them however you like. So marketing tab, just all the different elements you can schedule campaigns and your automation on your cadences and your social side of it. On the sales side for leads, so this is our leads view. This lead view, you can do several things within this view. So on a bulk action standpoint, you can email them directly through here. Everybody within that you've selected. You can SMS, you can drop a voicemail across everyone. You, of course, export, you can swap the owner. So this is helpful when you're in shared workspaces. You load up your leads and you want to swap out a different owner to it or assign leads to that individual user. You can do that on import, and you can also do it here by selecting. This is where I was mentioning collab users. Maybe you don't want to share an entire workspace and you just want to share certain leads with certain users. You can do that. Call queues. So call queues are essentially a way to, so for instance, if I do all my filtering here, so we have, filter by data forms, cadences, call only, lead status, which all this is customizable. You can create as many lead status as you want. Lead labels are basically, think of them as folders as well to your leads. Those are custom to you. You can create as many labels as you want and apply as many leads to those. You can also create workflows and automation when someone is applied to that label. You can filter by call queues. Pixels is what I was talking about, where you can add it to your site and actually scrape data for you and bring the lead data in so you don't have to do any integrations. And then list labels are when you load up a list, you can actually label that list and, of course, owner. And then you have different ways of searching with all different types of logic and conditions to really get your data. And so once you have your data in your view, the way you want it, the way call queues work is you can add them to a call queue, and then now you don't have to keep coming and putting these filters on. You can just, and I have one set up, so I'm just going to enable it. So when you enable your call queue, now you have this little widget over here, and you can quickly, visit that lead, make a change on that lead, and then it'll be removed from the call queue. So it's first one in, first one out. And so you can have as many call queues as you like. And it just helps as a sales rep that, hey, I want to call the East Coast, during this time period, or these are the leads I want to call today. And I may have several call queues here. And until I get done with the call queue, this will follow me around in the platform to ensure that I make all those calls or follow up with everybody within there. Also, when you apply filters, so if I was to apply a filter here, this saves for you. So no matter where every time you come back, this filter will always be on. You can also create filter views. So if you were to come over here and save this, this would be a filter view, and then it'll show up in your navigation here. And then every time you come in, you have that filter view within here. And then of course you can always go back to your normal view of what you had on a filter. So a lot of ways just to make it easier to find your data, organize your data, and then access that data, quickly through your tabs or just coming back to the leads view. So I'm going to go into my lead record real quick and show you what the actual lead view looks like. Is this the one that has all of the, yeah, okay. So in our lead view, if this lead has come in from a pixel or come in from one of your data forms on a either website from our system or a website that you have on your system, we also show the tracking data that happens. We call it a footprint, but basically we know everything that they've done on your website, how long they've been on your website. We have workflows that you can trigger stuff based on when they come back to your website, things like that. But this timeline will check every activity that you do automatically when you place a phone call, send a text message, where they open an email, everything that you do within here. And of course, if this is a shared workspace, your logged activity will show on the timeline, and maybe your inside sales reps activity will show on the timeline. So everything is tracked of what you do with this lead in the timeline. In addition to that, you can create tasks, assign them to different users, or assign them to yourself. You can add notes. You can add opportunities for the sales pipeline, which I'll show you here in just a second. You can also, again, one-off add to collab users, and then you can clone this lead, which is helpful, obviously, if you get a different contact or you don't want to have to re-enter all the data. So lead data, this is our global fields, but you can add as many custom fields as you like to collect and have as many fields to this lead that you want to have within the platform. And then we also log like any additional data from your data forms that you pull in. You can add unlimited attachments such as contracts or PDFs or whatever you need to put in here. All the additional visitor details is there, including, obviously all your opportunities. So it's pretty robust. You can play, again, I mentioned about making calls out of the browser. You can place calls directly through here, and of course, email and text message with your templates and things like that. So the opportunities. So once you create an opportunity within a lead, we have these sales pipelines where you can create as many tabs as you like and, walk them down the path of, whatever stages that you have for your sales pipelines. In addition to that, you can create, basically right now it's proposals. So when you come in and create a proposal, it's more like an invoice feel. This is set up with Stripe within here, or you can do an offline. Basically, it's like a drip reminder that, hey, I've sent you an invoice, in a sense that when you send it, you'll know when they open it. There'll be a reminder for that lead that, hey, this is going to expire. So it puts a little urgency into the proposal that you're sending out. But again, this looks very similar to an invoice. We are in the process of setting up our builder for the email and our CMS, so you can build out, really web-looking proposals that sit on top of the invoice field. But right now, what this is tied to specifically, like this just sends out a really nice email for them to click on it. If they accept the proposal, send it to your sales rep that, hey, they accepted the proposal. If you're using Stripe, it'll go out and actually charge. They can put their credit card in and go through that process through the proposal. So that's helpful for your sales team, especially if you're selling digital marketing services. That'll, at least close the loop on your sales within the platform. We have a subscription module. I'll talk about how you can use that for like onboarding users into the system. But yeah, so the sales pipeline, this is all driven by opportunity status. And then in addition to that, you have proposals within it that you can set up for each opportunity. So moving on to the CMS. So we have several different sections within the platform that are related to, I would say, just the funnel side of it. So creating a funnel, we call them funnels, but in reality, they're websites, landing pages, microsites. If you want to build in here, you can. We have basically these frameworks. If you can import a website as long as it's HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. you can go and get a theme and import the site into our platform really easily and at scale. We built it that way because every client we do for white label services, typically we start with a theme on ThemeForce or a template that we already have or something that we're just kind of starting the framework from. But you can build out these base templates through our platform. And then once you create your template or you use a template that we have in the system, we have basically a layer driven builder. So as you come in, each layer that you click on and go through, you can edit and change over here. You also have a style editor to kind of override the styles. We have different elements that you can come in and add, that are pre-built for the themes that we have. We also have widgets and components that you can bring in to each of these. So it is a unique builder. So it's obviously a lot different than Wix or some of these other that you've seen. Heavy on the designer side because you have raw access to the code level, style editor, head editor, scripts editor. You can drop in basically, you can import a website so quickly the way it's structured in this way. However, once it gets to this stage and your client or yourself, understands how to use the builder, it's really easy to change whatever you want. You do have theme styles that you can swap out as far as color schemes. And we also have what are basically like custom tags and global tags. So for personalization, let's say you want to create, a niche site for roofing or remodeling or landscaping or lawyers or chiropractors, and you want it to be easy for the user to just come in and update their profile information or make changes. You can use custom tags throughout the platform, and that user can come in and personalize it and create as many, custom blocks that you want. So you can really create these template driven systems to where your user doesn't necessarily have to come in and mess with the builder. But if you do allow them to come in and mess with it, as long as everything's set up for them, it works just like any other, what you see is what you get on a browser based side of it. But there's just so many components in here to import your own themes and things like that. So the second part of our CMS is the template section. So I mentioned about templates. You can create as many base templates as you want. These templates are then shared by role. So if I were to go in here, I can set up a role and say, hey, I only want this website to be shared with this specific role. That's helpful if like I use a chiropractor example. If you sell to chiropractors or support chiropractors, you're not going to build a unique chiropractor website every single time. That's not scalable. But if you have 5 really good templates to start with, you can easily customize the CSS or customize a color scheme. Or if you start creating tags within here to make it easy to quickly personalize for the client, you add their images, you add their text and things like that. Now you have, as unique as possible website, but you're starting from something that's already existing. And that's how you could, set up a role for a chiropractor. And then when they come in and set up a website or you set up for the client, you can create on your custom templates and then you can select it. It'll build the whole site out for you and you're starting from base. Another usage from our template system, a lot of SEO companies will create service level pages, content related to that local market, their service. Google with a lot of their updates, especially recently, having a single page oftentimes is harder to get indexed and there's not a whole lot of quality and weight to it. Our model is you can actually deploy a hyperlocal website, your entire website on a local level. And so it's your entire site. And so of course you put all your dynamic tags and, if you're using the if then statements and different things like that, just to really optimize it for a local market. And then you can quickly deploy them across all those markets. So you can deploy, we call it near me. You can name it, pick your state, pick your cities, or just leave cities blank and it'll deploy across all those states. You can decide whether you want a folder or subdomain, pick your domain out, apply it to workspace, hit add, and that'll build out all your sites for you. What's really cool about that is if you make a change, let's say you add a page, to the site, or maybe you make an edit to the design, that's going to funnel down to all those connected sites and make those changes. And if let's say you have a big network or let's just say you have a franchise or you have agent-based organizations or, just any usage where the person using that template has been customizing it, it won't override those customizations. It'll only override the ones that haven't been changed. So you can evolve a website, especially if you're selling a niche product into, let's say you're consulting for a bunch of landscapers. You can build a really awesome landscaping website that's really in depth with tons of content and blogging content. And you continue to evolve that site. Well, they'll get all those updates, provided they didn't make a change on one of those pages or section within those pages. Speaking of that, so we do have a built-in blogging platform. So this works just like any blog out there. The only uniqueness to our blogging platform is you can actually set up our content syndication. And what that does is that will push out content to every blog connected to that feed. And then, of course, if they have social set up, authenticated social, that will push those blog posts out to their social. That's extremely useful if, let's say, I give this example all the time. You have loan officers who, they're under compliance on what they can post on social and what they can't post on social and what they can do on their blog. And you may have thousands of loan officers for clients that you're working on, or maybe your mortgage company, and you want to push out content to all of their local agent-based sites. In addition to that, you want that content to then go out on social. So you can do that with our content syndication section within our templates. And so basically you're setting up these content blog posts that push out to all your local blogs. But our blogging platform works like any other blogging platform as far as your control on SEO and your posts and things like that. Next up would be our user hierarchy. So this is a little bit different in the mindset that we call them parent accounts. So when you sign up, you're the system admin. You can create parent accounts and you can create child accounts. Parent accounts are essentially the same thing as you. They're going to see every single module over here. They can add their own users. They can add their own user roles. They can customize the back end. So there's tons of customization on a branding standpoint. Throw your own scripts in here, change out the CSS, obviously all the, portal colors and everything else. You can create your own custom pages, and I'll talk about the client portal in just a second. But those are the additional functionality that only parent accounts have. User roles, these are going to be your child users. And so these users, there's a lot of different ways that you can set up, bring them on through our onboarding system. So you have this onboarding system that also you can customize and create as many, numbered section groupings of onboarding questions, and then they are applied to that role. And I was mentioning earlier about the roles and having, access to workspaces and access to certain websites. So once you have a user that comes into a role, that user can only see what you tell them to see. They can only access what assets you allow them to access. And then you can customize how they what pages they see when they log in and things like that. And of course, everything you create on a branding standpoint or a page standpoint or a course standpoint or a knowledge base standpoint, all those modules ask for which roles have access to that. And so that's what we call child users. They're attached to parent accounts. And then we have what are called teams. So a team, and I will go into a team real quick and give you that concept. So think of parent accounts. If you want to look at like a white label example, a lot of company, obviously it's completely white labeled with your branding. And then this terminology has been thrown around on some other competitors of ours. They call it black label, which essentially allows you to be a white label and then white label yourself. And that's what parent accounts are, right? But in addition to that, you can create those to infinite levels. So when you create a parent account, that parent account can create parent accounts. That parent account can create parent accounts. And every single one of them inherits whatever brand has been set up. So if I have my brand and I bring on a parent account, they're going to get my brand, but now they can override my brand and put their own brand. And then when they bring on a parent account, that parent account inherits their brand, then they can override that brand. So that goes to infinite levels, especially if you have, obviously you would need the unlimited user plan. But you may have clients where they want their own users and they don't need branding. So a child user, if you apply the team role to the child user, and I do have, is it client support? Yeah, teams, client support. So when you're in a role that has access to teams, you have the ability to create teams. They're just like roles and team members. So this is extremely useful if your client has their own, you're selling CRM or you're offering CRM with the digital marketing services, but they don't need a brand the whole back end. You want them to see your brand. You don't want to give them access to, creating, their own custom pages and configuring their back end. You just want them to be able to add team members and share workspaces and collaborate with their teams. So we have this teams module to where they can add their own teams, and it works the same way. The only difference is they only have access to the roles that you give them. So when that role has team access and you give them limited amount of role permissions, when they go create a team, they can only create the permissions that you give them. And then of course they can add their team members and manage their team members within here. And that just can, that as well goes into infinite levels. So they can create as many team managers and, sales managers and sales teams or whatever, however you want to organize it. But it's set up in a way where you can organize your hierarchy of users to, an ecosystem that's, really powerful across the board. So user management, again, parent accounts, child accounts, and you have teams and team users. Let me see here on the voice. So what's cool about our voice, I mentioned it before, this is all built in with our, our voice system that you don't have to bring in Twilio or any other system. It's here and available for you. We do have pricing for volume and also just per record that go over and beyond the limits in your lifetime deal or whatever deal that you're on. But when you add voice, you just come in here, you can set up a call forwarding line. I mentioned before, that's basically all that is you can set up a whisper to where when your client answers the phone, it's going to say, hey, this is agency 123 sending you a lead. It records the call. It'll forward to any number you want. IVR, this is where you can set up like a press 1 for sales, press 2 for support. And then VoIP line, this is where you're going to be able to do SMS and call through the browser, outbound, inbound, and of course, set up soft phones. But you just come in here and you'll put in your area code that you want to focus on, find your number, select your number. And then once you have your number, you have all these different settings that you can come into, including your credentials for VoIP. You can set up your voicemail drops, which, by the way, when you have a voicemail set up for a drop, when you're making a phone call and you get the voicemail, it'll appear to allow you to drop that voicemail. So you don't have to keep leaving voicemail. You can just select whatever voicemail, hang up the call, log the call, go on to the next record. You can change forward unanswered calls. So any calls that come to you, you can forward them that you don't answer in the browser. You can forward it another line. You can set up a whisper. You can set up SMS voicemail notifications. You can disable call recording if you want. You can host, in addition to voice, we do have a domain section where you can set up your, for hosting any website within the backend. And of course, branding the portal includes SSL and also your keys for email to send out. What else would be cool back here? So email integration. So we do several different email integrations. You have a native Office 365. You can set up your internal SMTP relay with us if you want to use our system, but you can also set up as many external SMTP relays. That's helpful when you're doing the email campaigns. You can actually switch between those, or if you set up a cadence, you may want one email to go from one SMTP server, your second email to go from another one, third, just so you're sending smaller volumes with your SMTP server, so you have just the best deliverable rates. So you can rotate those across. You can also set up your Gmail. So we don't have native integration to Gmail with authorization yet. We haven't got approved yet. However, you can, if you have G Suite, you can use an app password and set up your email to authenticate with Gmail using either an external SMTP or personal SMTP settings. We have, again, I mentioned the pixels. This is, and just like you would embed anything else, this pixel will allow you to scrape data from your site, but also your tracking data. And then there's some forms that don't, they're just, you have trouble mapping to our global fields. Maybe yours is not called name, like it's called F name. Things like that, you can field map to our global fields, whatever field names. I have a video training on how to do that. Oh, let's see what else is back here in the integration side. Apps. So this is what I was talking about. You come in and, you'll select either your social scheduler or your blog that you want your apps to, sync up. If you do blog, that's going to automatically post every time you publish them out to those, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Stripe. Let's see what else. API. So we do have a full-blown API. The documentation is ready for this. There's a lot of users within our community that are already leveraging the API, but it's a really robust API where you can pull whatever leads, insert whatever leads into data forms, projects API, the users API. So there's a lot there. What else would be interesting here? So you have your own ability to create. So our knowledge-based center looks like this. So you have your category, and then you go into your subcategory, and then you have videos and commenting system for your training on your knowledge base. You can actually create your own knowledge base center back here. In addition to that, you can create your own courses. So our courses that we have back here that'll help you get going with the platform, walks you through systematically all the videos that you should be watching, or at least the content that you should be going through on your course. And then you can create assessments at the end that they have to take a test to complete that course. So you can build all those yourself. You have to be a parent account to build those within here. And of course, custom pages. So you can build as many custom pages. There's a lot of stuff on personalization on custom pages. So there's all custom pages here. You can iframe sites. You can personalize sites with our global tags for the personalized users. So when I'm logged in, I'm seeing, hey, John, things like that. You can bring your blogs into the back end. So your blog feed is showing. So you may have a membership blog with content. So full-blown client portal for you to really create whatever you want and organize your tabs back here. In addition to that, let me show you the workflows. I think I skipped over that. So workflows, this is a fairly new feature for us. It really closes the loop to all of our modules. So for instance, this particular workflow, whenever lead status is changed, so when it's changed from new to voicemail, and this would obviously pull in all your custom lead statuses if you set them up. You have all these different options that you can do. You can send an email, send an SMS, create a lead task, lead opportunity, lead note, add a lead label, add to lead call queue. And so you can create as many actions as you want. So when you create an event, you have unlimited actions that you want to have happen. This is different than our cadences. I mentioned before, it's a sequence of events of the previous step. Our workflows is basically as soon as that event happens, you're going to trigger whatever you want to trigger based on the timing of that event that happens. So in this case, I have an email going out, in 0 minutes right away. In addition to that, I want to create a lead task, schedule it for 2 weeks out. I want to set a time. I can schedule it for other people other than myself, or just keep it myself, and a little description of what that is. And then I can add them to a lead label. What's cool here is you may have some other automations that happen when you add them to a lead label. Of course, that will trigger those automations in addition to that. So you can get, pretty complex with how you have this set up. And we're adding actions and events, daily at this point, now that this entire module is completed. Another really cool workflow that I love is a new user workflow. So in this example, I was talking about user roles, right? So I have a user role client. When an individual is subscribed to the client role, this is going to go ahead and clone a project. So this is an existing project that's set up. And to talk about our projects, we have a brand builder, organic brand builder plus. When you sign up for those, it automatically creates all the tasks, assign the resource pods to those tasks, puts it in the back end for the client. And it's basically ready to go for us to start working on that client or that client project. In addition to that, we have a create funnel option to where it'll actually select that base template and create that clone of that template for you automatically. That's powerful. For instance, when I talked about creating already built niche themes, such as, let's say you want to offer a landscaping website for free if they sign up for your marketing services, or maybe it's included or whatever, and you make it where the personalization from their profile, from the company name, contact information, their about us text, color scheme, those types of things are done in the profile. Then you can add on your onboarding link all those questions to collect their logo, those information, or when they get into their profile in the back end, they can add them. When they sign up for this role, that website's automatically created for them and dynamically updated with all the personalization that they've done in their profile. So there's a lot of usage behind that, and the possibilities are basically endless when you start using that type of automation within our workflows. So workflows, again, different than cadences. They're really just different events that you can have and automation after those events with actions for the modules within our platform. And in addition to that, we have subscriptions. So we have we've set it up based on profiles. So you can create as many profiles as you like. For our case, we have 5 different Stripe accounts, especially since we do white label. We have, a company that does a credit card transaction, just so if we need to bill your client direct, they don't see Ligna. We also have a Ligna processing. We have, different agency products that we have Stripe set up. Well, in Stripe, you have to switch between those accounts. There's no consolidated view of all your different transactions or your subscriptions. So you can create as many profiles as you like. Once you create a profile, you come in, you apply your settings, your tax, your country, your currency, your Stripe credentials, and then you can go and create products. Right now, we have only subscription products, but one-time products should be live before the end of this week, actually, because it's already done. You would select subscription or one time, in this case, subscription. You would choose your billing profile. Once you create your product, now inside your product, you have all these different options, just like you would with pretty much any other product system as far as subscriptions, your short description, your long description. You can override the design of the actual product page. You can set up your free trials, days. You can exempt them from tax, and then you can apply them to a role. So you can onboard your parent accounts, right? I was talking about the difference between parent accounts. So you can sell parent accounts. They come in, they sign up, they have their own ability to create their own branding, their own knowledge base centers, those types of things. And you can onboard them there, or you can apply a role. So if you're, like I mentioned, the contractor role or the landscaping role, and you have all these different assets associated with them and the automation setup to create the website, You can append a role, take that URL, and then when they sign up, it'll bill through your Stripe system. They'll show up in your subscription tab. They'll gain access to the back end. And then now you have, just full visibility and what's going on your subscription level. Of course, all that stuff stored as well in Stripe. It's just a lot easier, especially if you have multiple Stripe accounts to manage here. Plus, obviously, the integration with the user management of them onboarding. We also have a ticketing system. So this ticketing system you can use for your clients. They can create tickets, and you can have managed user or managed ticket users, and also just regular users who access the tickets. In this case, it's just a commenting of the ticket, and then you can close it out and assign different users to it. Let's see if I'm sure I've missed quite a bit, but that's pretty much the rundown of the entire platform. There's, again, the whole goal for us was to get as many users as possible, adopting our technology, using our technology, learning from them, expanding on the feature functionality. Our Facebook group, there's just so many great suggestions, and every day we're updating. Matter of fact, if you come out to our roadmap tab here, you'll see everything that we have in the works in our QA stage and in progress with the dates that we have associated with it. So we have a lot of things in here that is driven 100% by our community and what will make this system better. Oh, and I did want to mention one thing, and I left it out. We do have an account management system. This will be an account tab, but inside the system, if you create an account or sync an account, this will create an account view to where if you are set up with accounts, leads, and accounts, you can use it that way. In the future, we're going to have accounts tabs and contacts tabs, and you'll be able to rename those and use them however you want. But yeah, so that's the platform. I'm going to pause for a second. If you have any questions that you want me to answer, feel free to throw them in the chat, and then I'll move on to the white label services and just kind of give you a better understanding of that. So one of the questions that's in here is, so you are on your own unique software, not built on top of Go High Level or FlowTrack? Absolutely. You'll realize that really quick when you come into our platform, just the logic behind our CRM and our project management system. Oh, I didn't show you projects. That's glad we went into that. So we have a full-blown project management system, so many different views that you have to manage these projects. You can, if you're used to more of a list view, you can do that. We have column view on your projects. When you create a project, we have a one-time project. We also have an ongoing project. So that's helpful. Obviously in marketing services, that project's not going to end until your client cancels. And so when you create an ongoing project, you can create recurring tasks, such as every day I want this task to be created, or every week, every month. That's great if you're, writing blog posts every month for your client, or, doing local citations once a month, things like that. Ongoing project. And of course, you can do a one-time project, schedule that out, apply it to a client, set up all your collab users, put in your description. Inside the project itself, we have several different views. Actually, let me go to the Kanban view. So we have the Kanban view. We have, and here you can customize these stages however you like. You can, add tasks directly through here. Subtask, you can create, we have a Gantt view. We have a list view. Within here, inside the list view, we have a calendar view. We also have a grid view. We also have an entire view for all your tasks that you can see within here, including an entire view for your Gantt board as well. So a lot of different ways that you can interact within the system. You also have individual task views. So depending on your style, I like to have one window open with this task here, and it's not, a dialogue pulled in with all the additional on a Kanban board. And then if I want to go out to those different boards, I can. But then you can create all your subtasks. You can add an unlimited attachments here. So there's a lot of different ways to manage your projects and your tasks. And of course, you have a project dashboard that will show you, where your projects are at, how many tasks you have going, just basically everything associated with your project standpoint of where you're at. So yeah, so I'm glad I was able to cover that. Next question is, if we assign leads to sales reps, are there any reports that will capture activity to measure production and KPIs? So yes, our sales dashboard is weak. So you have tracking of all opportunities, all their calls, all their metrics. And of course, in a shared workspace, you can filter by individual phone lines to see their calls, but each rep has their own dashboard. We're in the process of making a dashboard that's more of logic driven based on how many calls they need to make that day, things like that, and settings. But right now it's just a simple dashboard where you can show, their KPIs, but nothing like what we have in the works as far as what we want to show on a per rep basis and reporting as a manager, right? So we are working on the different elements of that. And of course, you can export all that data, and it comes with the user and the owner and who did those calls. But the dashboard itself needs to show a lot of those aggregated reports that you can generate. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I know I've missed something within this platform, but I think I've covered most of the modules. I know some have requested our white label service, or at least understand our white label services. Our white label services are basically us working as your client behind the scenes, working for your client. So we're an extension of your team. We set you up on 4 Slack channels that you can communicate directly with your resource pods. We offer base packages that you can resell for whatever you like. Most sell it for about 2.5 to 3.5 times our pricing. When you can add a setup fee, ours come with no setup fees. There's no contracts. We'll build a website for your clients. We write all the content, optimize it. We blog based on the package every week or twice a month. We set up their Google My Business and optimize the Google My Business, and then we post on that weekly or bi-monthly. We do local citations. We have about 1,200 that we know move the needle, and so we'll set those up on a monthly basis. We do daily social posting, and that's a half of the automation that we do. And then in addition to that, we do half branded posts. We also will conduct SMS and email campaigns and views for the clients. You have to provide the data, obviously, in the information driven for those campaigns, but we do that. And then we also deploy that near me technology that I was showing you before, up to 25 service areas within their area if they're a service oriented business. And then the Organic Brand Builder Plus, we actually manage Google Ads. We'll set up an ad and a remarketing ad. This isn't one of those high-end paid campaigns where we're doing a bunch of split testing. Think of it as a way to generate leads in a local market for your clients while they wait for organics to kind of kick in. They can, purchase more in-depth or more robust paid campaigns. In those cases, we just give you a wholesale rate and you can go out there and charge what you like with it. But yeah, this comes with the platform, comes with a team to, do all the work for you, and you have access to that team. And of course, we use our project management system. So, it's pretty straightforward, easy pricing, easy product for that. And then in addition to that, we do the setups. So a lot of customers want us to come in and do a done for you setup. So our basic one will create, the branding of your backend. We'll set up your user roles. We'll import your website to the platform. We'll set up your CRM, and then on the advanced, we'll go into creating sales templates, your email templates, your email campaign setup, your cadence setups, any workflows that are associated with that. And then the ultimate is where if you want us to deploy near me sites across, a state or network, get those optimized and configured properly, or setting up agent-based or sales users, really configuring all their stuff and getting everything set up for them. And then if you want a knowledge-based training center courses, of course, you got to provide the content, and we'll set all that up for you. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways that you can get going a lot quicker and speed up your learning curve. As I mentioned, we have a great community on Facebook with tons of posts for over the last year and a half of just questions, how-tos, concept ideas, issues. It's just I'm very active on there, and a lot of people are active on that. So please join us there. So the next question is the agency one-time lifetime fee for unlimited users. Yeah, so I might as well go over the lifetime packages. So the lifetime has a 4 package, or I think there's 5, can't remember. So, the starter, you get 2 users. That actually should say 3 because it's also including yourself. You can create 2 users, but it's really limited to the phone lines and the amount of effort or a lot of usage you can do around your text messages and your voicemail drops and your emails. But the lifetime, this is where it's unlimited users. So I was mentioning before about the infinite levels of parent accounts and child accounts and the teams and accounts in there. You can create as many users and sell this thing as many times over. Now, there are some limitations that you would want to set on your users, and we're expanding our permission sets to those levels to where you could go out there and essentially offer the same thing that we would be offering, just do it on consumer base, right? You could easily go and attract either marketing agencies, or you can attract businesses, agent-based organizations, or any organization. Small business owner has 10 users, right? 10 salespeople. There's a lot of ways that you can sell this. But yeah, that's unlimited users on the lifetime. Unlimited parent accounts as well. So yes, parent accounts, their users, their parent accounts, their users to infinite levels. There's no limit on users within the system. The only limits are going to be your phone lines, 40 phone lines, the emails that you send on our SMTP server, the text messages that you send, and the voicemail drops. If you look at the pricing for text messages and voicemail drops and just having 40 phone lines with unlimited minutes, $1,000, if you just use the phone system, you're going to break even at least within 6 months, depending on the provider that you're using, right? Well, it's all included with us. So the purpose of this lifetime deal, again, like I said, 2023, we're retiring this, and we're trying to get as many power users in the platform as possible. And you'll see by the Facebook group of what I mean by that. That's our investment, your research and development at this point, your partners of ours that we want to take it to the next level starting next year. So it's a hell of a deal just for the phone system, but the unlimited users part, when you get to that stage, obviously you have unlimited users, you're going to need more than 40 phone lines. So our phone lines are $3 a month with unlimited minutes, and text messaging is 1 cent per send. The voicemail drops are 2.5 cents. And then the emails, I think it's 0.001 cent. I'll confirm that. And then we have volume pricing depending on how much you send. And then in the future, you can bring your own tech, but we're built on Plivio, and I'm telling you, the call quality compared to Twilio, in my opinion, is far superior. And just the quality of all around, it's and the way we have set it up, we do have a really nice voice feature within our platform. So next question, this is a fully functional phone line with unlimited minutes, no other service or fees for those 40 lines. That is correct. You can make as many phone calls as you like. It's fully functional, inbound, outbound. We're an international platform as well. We have tons of customers in Australia, UK, just all over the world with these phone lines. If we have them in inventory, you can use them. If you're in the US, of course, we have pretty much every area code or alternative area code for sure. And then we can, of course, order or port in additional numbers. So yeah, unlimited minutes within the platform. You get up to 40 lines. So you can use those lines, whether they be call forwarding lines for your client, they could be VoIP lines for a customer that you bring on that they're going to use for their salespeople or your own internal usage. And then when you get over 40, it's $3 a month per line, same unlimited minutes at that point. Last but not least, with this lifetime deal, you do have the opportunity within here to upgrade at any time. So you don't necessarily have to jump into one that's, you don't see yourself getting to those limits in a long time from now. And we want to scale with you. So you can come in, at the Agency Pro lifetime and decide to go unlimited in the future, even when these expire at the end of this month. At the end of the day, we want to scale with your business. So you have an opportunity to upgrade at any moment as you grow. So. Okay, well, if there's any other questions while I wrap this up, feel free to jump in and put those in. If not, I really appreciate so here's another quick question. What happens if we have tech issues? Who do we contact for assistance? There's no contact number for you guys. So there's a couple of things in the platform right here. You can just click on this chat icon. So there's several people that are on our chat system. I'm also on the chat system all the time. My investment is you, to learn from you, understand issues that you're having. So I spend a great deal of time learning from our users within the chat system. But yeah, you have access to the chat for any issues that you may have. One thing just to note, this is not, built in my closet, on some, rinky dink server. We have enterprise Amazon on East Coast and West Coast. I've been building technology since till 2002 is really when I started developing, but I've built forms in the past, extremely large enterprise applications handling thousands and thousands of agents that leverage this type of solution where you need not only extreme uptime, but it's not only a portal on the back end, but also the front end for your websites. And so I've taken all that tribal knowledge that I've learned over the years and put everything into Ligna. And so as far as the scalability, the speed of the platform, the availability of the platform 24 hours a day, with international customers, this platform doesn't go down. If it does, it's for a very brief moment. And most of the time it's because everyone's down on Amazon, right? So very reliable, enterprise grade security. Everything is, as close to HIPAA compliant as you can. The only thing we don't do for HIPAA compliant customers is silo the database. We will do that for specific clients and move in that direction, but GDPR compliant, everything's encrypted. So tons of security in the platform and, built on an enterprise level. So this is not, just a project out there. This is supporting thousands upon thousands of users. So the availability is always up. Next, even with the agency startup lifetime, I would have the option to go unlimited after the sale ends. Yeah, so absolutely. It's not, if you feel a need right now to get in at that level, feel free. Absolutely. So even after it ends, you can upgrade from the startup at any moment later on. Next question. So we start with the one time 125 and then upgrade to unlimited. Absolutely. So same question. We have no limit on the upgrade. We have people that have come in, started at 125 and 2 weeks later decided to upgrade because they landed a client that's going to need 40, 50 users, right? So your needs base will change very quickly. If you have, if you're in a good place as far as your company wise and you need unlimited users, or you're going to get real aggressive starting 2023 to really push this out, definitely would do that for sure, just because of the savings that you get with it. Also, can we create unlimited subscriptions? Yeah, so there's no limit on how many subscriptions you create. You can create as many billing profiles, you can create as many, individual user roles for your subscription. So you have no limit in that aspect of it. So just to clarify, if I upgrade, will it be a one-time charge like the deal you have now? Absolutely. It's a one-time, you'll pay the difference, of course, right? So, you sign at 125, you're going to pay that 875 to get that upgrade later on. Okay, so if you don't have any more questions, I appreciate everyone's time. I like doing these group sessions. I know several couldn't be here today, so I'm glad I was able to get this one recorded. I'll get this loaded up to YouTube and share that. And yeah, just if you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to me on the chat or on the ad that you're seeing. Like I said, we're going to be pushing this all the way until December 31st, and hope you can join the team. Okay, one more question jumped in. Does the phone system have a voicemail? If so, what size? Yeah, so definitely has voicemail. So you have the option of recording voicemail within here. So when you go into your voice and then you go into your VoIP line, you can upload your recording. And then the recording limit on voicemail, that's a great question. I'm not sure. I don't think the limit is where it would ever need to be an issue for you for someone leaving a voicemail. So it's big. So it's not something that someone has to leave a voicemail within 30 seconds or, they get cut off. So I almost want to say the recording time is 30 minutes, but that may be ridiculous. I'll confirm that with you, but you won't run into any issues as far as length, as far as someone leaving you a voicemail. So yeah, voicemails included. Yes. So every call that you call from a browser, from a soft phone, or from a desktop VoIP line is recorded in the system. And so that's applied to the lead view. And then also you can come into the calls view and you can listen to the call, download the recording, send it over, through email or however you want. And the recording also comes in your exports with a hosted URL for the recording of the actual call. Okay, well, like I said, if you have any other questions, just click on our website on the chat icon, throw them in there. Someone will get to you and answer those for you. And also, if you want to just post on the ad, that would be cool too. So I appreciate everyone's time. Hope you have an awesome rest of your Wednesday. And again, appreciate you taking a look at Ligna. Great day.